As some of you may know, I've bought my first car, which is a 2008 Mazda 3. Unsurprisingly, a mid-range Mazda, which was first launched in 2003, doesn't come with a built-in Sat-Nav. And unless you want to stick an old-fashioned map book on the front windscreen, you're going to have to invest in a windscreen-mounted or dash-mounted Sat-Nav. Or do you, because my solution to the problem has cost me absolutely nothing and doesn't involve using my phone with notifications pinging up all the time. As you've read from the thumbnail, I think dedicated Sat-Navs are a complete waste of money, and I think it's worth knowing why so that you can understand why my solution to the problem is much better. Firstly, and it's my biggest problem with Sat-Navs, is the fact that live traffic data simply isn't as good as what you get with Google Maps, Apple Maps or Waze. Google Maps has over 2 billion monthly users, and all the data from all the motorists all feeds into the app. This means Google Maps, along with all the other smartphone navigation apps, always know more accurately when there's traffic on the road when compared with a Garmin system or a TomTom system. It's not Garmin or TomTom's fault that this is the case. There simply isn't enough people who use their Sat-Navs to make the live traffic updates as good. One of the reasons why there are so few people using their Sat-Navs is the fact they're so expensive. Just to get a Garmin with the same size phone screen as mine will cost £170, and that's before you add any options like a dash cam or Alexa built in. TomTom's cheapest 6-inch Sat-Nav is £140, but the bezels make it look like something from the early noughties. The worst quality navigation and the cost of these Sat-Navs are my two biggest problems with them. There are some other smaller things that are also incredibly irritating. Firstly, most of the Sat-Navs don't come with a hardwire kit, which means you're going to have to use the 12-volt socket in the car. A, that's inconvenient because it means you won't be able to charge your phone at the same time if you only have one 12-volt socket. And B, it's going to look a mess if you have cables everywhere. As well as that, I can also bet you that the screens will be nowhere near as responsive or intuitive as your phone screen. You're also probably going to have to end up detaching the Sat-Nav all the time to keep prying your eyes away from your up to £420 Sat-Nav in the case of the top spec Garmin. Now, my solution is far superior to the traditional Sat-Nav. What I will be using is my old iPhone 6. There's no distractions because all I have are the essential apps, and despite being released 10 years ago, the screen is super responsive and it's very easy and reliable to connect to my main phone's hotspot. Using this phone as opposed to a Sat-Nav also means I don't have to have it plugged in all the time because it has a battery, of course. And even if the battery did need charging, it would only take one USB point rather than a whole 12-volt socket. If I am intending to drive places which don't have mobile service, I can also download the maps on Google Maps to use offline. It's also a lot sleeker, and you could even argue more modern looking than some of the new Sat-Navs. The best bit about it though is the price. As I said, this is my old phone, so it cost me nothing to buy, and because I'm using my main phone's hotspot, it will cost me nothing to run as well. And even if I didn't have the choice of inheriting my old phone, I can still easily buy another iPhone 6 in good condition for just £30. Of course, it also applies to Android phones and tablets as well. An iPad mini or a small Lenovo tablet would work well if you wanted a larger screen than what you get with your phone. There are also a plethora of different mounting options, whether you prefer to mount your phone on the dashboard, on the window, or on the air vent. The last thing to mention is that you can also use Google Assistant in the case of Android phones. Siri is so rubbish on iPhone, I don't think I can even call it a perk. On the Garmin, you have to pay for Alexa as an add-on feature, and Alexa is already nowhere near as good as Google Assistant anyway. Hopefully you agree with my verdict that using an old phone is far superior than using a dedicated Sat-Nav. If there are any drawbacks of using your old phone as a Sat-Nav, please do tell me in the comments, but from my perspective, using an old phone is a lot better.